I just transmigrated into a four-clawed golden dragon, and I was kicked out of the dragon clan right away. Plus, the ancestral dragon sealed me under the sea for 10,000 years. But instead of getting angry, I even begged the ancestral dragon to trap me for a few more 100,000 years. It's all because I landed in the age of the dragon hand catastrophe. Here, even a golden immortal is nothing. Great beings walk all over the place in this wild and ancient world. I'm just a measly, tiny golden immortal. In these wars, I'm not even qualified to be cannon fodder. At best, I'm cannon fodder among cannon fodder. If I want to survive, I have to keep thinking over my options. Right now, there are only two ways out. Option 1. I escape the Dragon Palace, find a secret place to hide, and wait for the catastrophe to end before coming out again. But leaving the Dragon Palace is easy.
If a strong dragon discovers me,
They'll know I ran away in battle. That would mean being branded a traitor. I'm dead for sure. Besides, the war sweeps across the whole world. Where could I possibly find somewhere truly safe? Option 2. Convince the ancestral dragon to lead the dragon clan into seclusion. But that's even harder than the first option. All three clans are fighting like crazy. No way they're just gonna stop. And others might not know the truth of this war. But as someone who time-traveled here, I know it perfectly. The one stirring things up behind the scenes is demon ancestor Luohu. Luohu's power is even stronger than ancestral dragon Yuan Phoenix or primeval Qilin. Even Grandmaster Hongjun couldn't take him one-on-one. Hongjun might not win against him solo. Luohu is using the war as a chance, trying to kill the righteous and rule in chaos. Even if the ancestral dragon wants to stay away from Luohu, he would never really let us leave. So this path is also near impossible. Right when I hit rock bottom, a cold voice suddenly sounded in my mind. Congratulations, host. You've activated the God-tier choice system. Make a choice to get a reward. Detected. Host's current situation is extremely dangerous. Please make your selection. Option 1. Follow the flow of destiny and act as the vanguard for the Dragon Clan. Reward. Innate supreme treasure, the Chaos Bell. Option 2. Flee from battle. Hide until the catastrophe ends, then resurface. Reward. A sanctuary that blocks the divine sense of anyone under quasi-saint level. Option 3. Convince the ancestral dragon to lead the dragons into seclusion and leave the Dragonhan catastrophe behind. Reward. Half of the origin power of the primal chaos ancient void dragon. After hearing the system's 3 choices, I immediately started thinking it through. The first choice is out for me. It's not that I don't want the Chaos Bell, but with my tiny golden immortal power, I can't use even a bit of its strength. If anyone finds out I have it, I'll just get killed even faster. The reward for option 2 isn't bad. A very safe sanctuary. Too bad. It only blocks the divine sense of anyone below quasi-saint. There's still a risk of being found. I hesitated for a moment, but gave up on that choice too. That just leaves option 3. Persuade the ancestral dragon to retreat. I already analyzed this before. The chances of ancestral dragon going into seclusion are basically 0. But the system just wants me to try. Whether ancestral dragon listens or not, doesn't really matter. As long as I open my mouth to persuade him, the mission is complete. And the reward for option 3. Half of the primal chaos ancient void dragon's origin. That's the source power of a 3000 level chaos god. Even if it's not as strong as Pengu, it's still top tier among the 3000 primal gods and devils. If I fuse with half of that origin, my foundation will definitely improve a lot. I might even match the ancestral dragon, unless compared to the very top, like the 3 pure ones, or Tai, those primordial gods. Thinking about this, I forced myself to calm down, and replied to the system in my heart. I choose option 3. Reward granted. Please finish your mission within a month. If you don't, your reward will be taken back. As soon as the system finished, I suddenly felt a surge of ancient mysterious power inside me. It was vast and strong, deep and unfathomable. Is this really half of the primal chaos ancient void dragon's origin? It's truly extraordinary. After a moment of awe, I pulled myself together. Fusing this origin isn't something that happens overnight, but the system wants me to finish the mission in a month. No time to lose. I need to move now. Soon I arrived at the Eastern Sea Hall. Ancestral Dragon sat on his throne above. He spoke in a cold, flat tone. Yi, why have you come to see me? I bowed and answered, respected ancestral dragon. I came here to ask you to lead our whole dragon clan into seclusion, no longer taking part in this three-clan war. As soon as I finished, a terrifying force burst out from ancestral dragon. It shook the whole hall. Everything trembled. How dare you, Yi? Do you even know the nonsense you're saying? Under ancestral dragon's terrifying pressure, I staggered back a few steps, but I kept looking him in the eye. Of course I know what I'm saying, but this concerns the rise and fall of the dragon clan. I have to say it. Right now, the dragon clan is incredibly strong. But if we keep fighting, the clan may not die out, but will definitely be ruined. Please think of the clan, and take everyone into seclusion now. Nonsense! Ancestral dragon slammed down the table, his eyes full of rage. Just a lowly, tiny, golden immortal. Yet you dare claim the mighty dragon clan will fall into ruin. What a joke! You coward! You're shaking our morale. From now on, I'm expelling you from the dragon clan and imprisoning you under the eastern sea for 10,000 years. As his words fell, an overwhelming force instantly enveloped me. Under that power, I lost control of my own body, and I sank deep into the ocean. No idea how long passed, but I finally regained control of myself. Looking at the cold, empty surroundings, the water was freezing, no sunlight this deep below. I couldn't help but sigh. Ending up like this was more or less expected, but at least I can still cultivate here. Actually, if I think about it, being locked up down here keeps me away from the battlefield. I'm not in any life-threatening danger. Now I can put all my focus into fusing the Chaos Ancient Void Dragon's origin. Nothing else to worry about, so I wasted no time, sat down right away, and started fusing that origin. Time flew by. 8,000 years passed in a flash. During those 8,000 years, even though I was sealed under the sea, I could still sense the chaos on the battlefield outside. I could faintly feel it. The three clans fought hundreds of wars, and almost every battle, a great Luo Golden Immortal level powerhouse died. As for fallen Tai Golden Immortals, there were way too many to count. The three clans suffered terrible losses. It's even damaged the foundation. They never expected the battle to be this brutal. But behind all this, it seems there's always an invisible hand, controlling everything. I only found out later that during that time, something happened in the main hall of the East Sea Dragon Palace. Ancestor, more than half of our clan's Dalue Golden Immortals have fallen, and over 70% of our Tai Golden Immortals are gone. I beg you to order a ceasefire. If we keep fighting, even if we win, it'll be a Pyrrhic victory. We might even end up perishing along with the Phoenix and Kalen clans. Our clan needs to recover quickly. Zulong still sat proudly on his throne, but compared to 8,000 years ago, the look in his eyes was now utterly weary. Listening to the reports from the dragon generals below, his heart was a mess of emotions. He couldn't help but think back to 8,000 years ago, to the Tai Golden Immortal who suggested the dragon's retreat. The young one had already predicted the dragons would end up like this. In the end, it was my fault. Zulong shook his head and sighed. He then said, Arui, I'm appointing you as envoy. Go to the Phoenix and Killing clans and discuss a truce with them. Remember, we are negotiating, not begging for peace. Their losses are as bad, if not worse, than ours. A ceasefire benefits them too, so they probably won't refuse. If they say no, don't push it. At worst, it's just another fight. What does our dragon clan have to fear? Zulong said calmly to Adeluo Golden Immortal below.
Hearing this,
Arui bowed deeply. Understood, sir. But what Zulong didn't know was, on Mount Sumeru, in the west of the ancient world, Luo Hu, dressed in black, sat atop the 12th grade world-destroying Black Lotus, a cold smile on his lips. You want a truce? Not a chance. His tone dripped with mockery. He'd been plotting for eons, waiting for the three clans to all be destroyed. Now,
his plan was about to succeed.
How could he let it fall apart now? Over these years, Luo Hu used the resentment from the three-clan war to train and cultivate. He'd long since reached the peak of quasi-saint. He could feel that. Once all beings above Tai Golden Immortal in these three clans died, and he absorbed their resentment and baleful aura. He might reach Hunyuan status. He might just achieve enlightenment. Thinking of this, even someone as powerful as Luo Hu showed a hint of longing in his eyes. Next, the battlefield will be under my control. With that, Luo Hu and his 12th grade world-destroying Black Lotus vanished. 1 month later, in the main hall of the East Sea Dragon Palace, reporting to the ancestor, Rui was killed after going to the Phoenix clan's base. Please decide what to do, ancestor. Zulong was furious when he heard this. The Phoenix clan actually dared to kill his envoy. That's insane. They really want to go to war with us dragons. But the Dragon Clan isn't afraid. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Zulong ordered immediately. Send out 100,000 troops at once. Attack the undying volcano. At the same time, at the Qilin clan's hall somewhere in the wilds, Qilin sat at the top, while a Qilin warrior reported below, with a voice full of grief and rage. Reporting to the ancestor, the young master was killed by the dragon general. Please avenge the young master, ancestor. My Linger. The Dragon Clan has gone too far. Qilin was furious. Send the order down. Mobilize troops immediately. Attack the Dragon Clan. This time, I will lead the army myself. In an instant, the chaos in the wilds got even worse. And as for the mastermind behind it all, Luo Hu, he looked at his handiwork with a satisfied smile. Meanwhile, up on Killing Cliff, Hongzheng the ancestor was meditating with the creation jade butterfly, when he suddenly stopped. His gaze seemed to pierce his cave dwelling and land right on the battlefield of the 3 clans. His face was emotionless, but he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Everything is fate. It's time to end this. During these 2 calamities, heaven's will has been completely hidden. Hongzheng only knew that the Dragon Hand calamity was ending, but didn't expect his nemesis Luo Hu was the true mastermind behind it. Otherwise, he would have left seclusion now, to work with Zulong Yuanfeng and Qilin against Luo Hu. None of this had anything to do with me, sealed at the bottom of the East Sea. After 8,000 years of refining, I've refined 80% of the primordial void ancient dragon's power. Almost there, my foundation has risen to the level of a primordial deity. My cultivation has also soared, and I've now reached the peak of Tai Golden Immortal. I'm just 1 step away from Daluo Golden Immortal. To break through to Daluo Golden Immortal, you need enough power, and also need to master a law. For others, this might be hard. But for me, now that my foundation is at the primordial deity level, it's a piece of cake. I probably need another 2,000 years to finish refining the remaining half of the primordial void ancient dragon's power and fully absorb it. By then, my foundation will advance again, reaching the same level as Zulong, equal to the top primordial deities like the 3 pure ones. Mastering laws will be even easier. In a flash, another 1,000 years passed. The 3 clans were already fighting for real. No one would stop until the other was wiped out. Now the war is nearly over. Zulong gazed at the battlefield, watching his near-extinct kin, yet felt a burst of pride. Because, after all, the dragons won, though just barely. Unlike the Dragon Clan, with barely any survivors, the pureblood phoenixes were down to less than 100. The Qilin clan was even worse off, with barely a dozen pureblood Qilins left. But then, Zulong suddenly noticed a black figure appeared next to Yuanfeng in the distance. Out of nowhere, the figure moved like lightning. Yuanfeng was seriously injured and near death from the sneak attack, and barely managed to flee. Zulong was stunned. With just 1 attack, that figure almost killed Yuanfeng. He couldn't pull off something like that. Even with a sneak attack, he couldn't do it. That means this mysterious person was way stronger than him. Who could it be? Why would they want to seriously hurt Yuanfeng? Zulong was confused and started feeling uneasy. Things were moving in an unpredictable direction. After injuring Yuanfeng, the Black Shadow didn't hesitate and attacked Qilin next. Zulong panicked and urgently told the Azure Dragon, "Not good. The enemy wants to defeat us 1 by 1. I'll go support Qilin. If things get out of hand for Azure Dragon, you need to return to the Dragon Clan headquarters right away. I feel like all 3 of our clans are being set up." But just as Zulong was about to move, something suddenly occurred to him. His body paused for a moment. He looked off into a certain direction. A streak of red light shot from his hand, tearing through the void, and sped far into the distance. Then Zulong brought Azure Dragon and joined the battlefield with Luohu and Shi Qilin. Luohu didn't panic at all. His eyes showed only contempt. With his current power, he didn't even see Zulong, Yuanchu Phoenix, or Shi Qilin as a threat. The only reason he struck at Yuanchu Phoenix first was just to make this battle a little easier for himself. Luohu stood on the world-ending Black Lotus, wielding the god-slaying spear, and charged at Shi Qilin. Shi Qilin felt a sense of deadly danger coming from the spear. He was shocked and scared, so he tried everything he could to defend himself. As one of the three ancients who ruled the great wilderness, he didn't want to die to some unknown power. At the same time, Patriarch Hongjin on Killing Cliff snapped his eyes open. His face showed shock and concern. Just now, the heavenly Tao gave him a warning. There's a demon in the great wilderness called Luohu, stirring up conflict between the three clans behind the scenes. He's about to make a move to kill for the righteous path. If Luohu succeeds in bringing his path to power, the great wilderness will be corrupted. The whole world will turn into one ruled by killing and demons. Heaven hopes that he will intervene to stop Luohu. If he can kill Luohu, he'll get infinite merit from heaven, and that might be his chance to reach sainthood. Faced with heaven's choice, Hongjin hesitated for a moment, but quickly made up his mind. Kill Luohu and claim a chance at righteousness. He's been stuck at his bottleneck for too long, unable to make a breakthrough. This might be his only shot. He couldn't let it slip by. But since he didn't know the enemy's power, just to be safe, he decided to find a few allies. Even though he had the Taiji diagram and Pangdu banner, two of the most powerful innate treasures, he always played it safe. Meanwhile, deep under the EC, I was refining the essence of the ancient chaotic void dragon. When I suddenly stopped, I stared in surprise ahead of me. A crimson sword was stuck in the ground, glowing with intense light. Just moments ago, this sword flew in from the sky, easily breaking through the barrier spell, and landed right in front of me. To get through the seal so easily, I figured the sword must have come from Zulong. After a moment of hesitation, I walked over to the sword and pulled it out. Right after that, Zulong's voice echoed through the space. Yi, you were right. I regret not taking your advice back then. But it's too late now. His voice sounded heavy and tired. Nothing like the proud, invincible self he'd been 8,000 years ago. The world is in chaos now, so I'm not planning on breaking your seal. Staying here is actually safer for you. This sword is called the Chixiao sword. It's one of my few finest innate treasures. I'm giving it to you today. Zulong hesitated, then spoke more slowly. You're really talented. The dragon clan is fading now. For the sake of our clan, I hope you'll look out for the dragons however you can in the future. Ancestor Dragon's words stopped right there. Hearing this, I fell silent. The Chixiao sword in my hand shook slightly, as if it were trying to say something. I knew the value of a top pre-heaven treasure. Many quasi-saints spend their entire lives without a single one to their name. Yet at the peak of Zenith Heaven Golden Immortal, I had obtained such a treasure. Amidst the excitement, my hate for Ancestor Dragon mostly faded. Just then, the system, silent for 8,000 years, reappeared. Host detected. Ancestor Dragon asks you to guard the Dragon Clan. Please make your choice. Option 1. Refuse the request. Reward: 1 purple vein peach. Option 2. Accept and resolve 3 crises for the Dragon Clan. Reward: a top-tier cultivation sanctum. Hearing the system's voice, I was both surprised and delighted. It hadn't appeared for 8,000 years. I thought it had vanished forever. I then checked the rewards for both options. The purple vein peach from option 1. Eating 1 grants immortality and greatly boosts your magic power. Even at my current peak level, it would provide massive benefits. Option 2 rewards a top-tier sanctum. I was just worrying about not having a place to call my own. This reward is exactly what I need. In the end, I chose option 2. First, I already wanted to help the dragons. Second, resolving 3 crises. Isn't that big of a deal? Reward granted. At the same time, a new route appeared in my mind, along with a method to enter the formation. The route is obvious. It leads to the sanctum's location. As for the entry method, there must be a protective formation outside. You can't enter without the right method. Then I resumed my cultivation, rushing to refine the chaos, with half of the ancient void dragon's essence refined. In this primordial world, I finally have some power to protect myself. Time continued to pass. When Ancestor Hongjun arrived with Yin Yang and Ancestor Kyung-kun, the battle with Rahu was already over. Ancestor Dragon and the killing ancestor both fell. Azure Dragon left, badly wounded, though Rahu was also injured. Even he could not come out completely unscathed from the ancestor's final strikes. But in the end, he won. He could feel the endless demonic energy surging into his body. As the demonic energy grew, his bottleneck began to loosen. Rahu was overjoyed. He felt his ascension was finally near. As he prepared to return to Mount Sumeru, he saw Hongjun and the others arrive. His pupils constricted slightly, and a solemn look crossed his face. 3 quasi-saints, all at the late stage or higher. One of them seemed as strong as he was. They aren't here as friends. A fierce light flashed in Rahu's eyes. After a moment's thought, he decided it was best to avoid a direct conflict. He wasn't afraid. He just wanted to focus on his ascension. No point wasting time on a pointless fight. The next moment, he vanished into a cloud of black mist. Seeing this, Hongjun frowned and began to divine through the heavenly Tao. A breath later, he opened his eyes and said calmly to ancestors Cancun and Yin Yang, "My friends, Rahu's sanctum is at Mount Sumeru. He's rushing back because he gained much from this tribulation. He might even reach the Tao through this. We must stop him immediately." The 2 ancestors nodded instantly. They knew what was at stake. By killing Rahu, they would receive heaven's reward. The massive merit bestowed upon them would greatly boost their foundations. Meanwhile, at Mount Sumeru, Rahu sensed the 3 pursuing him. A ruthless look flashed in his eyes. How persistent. "It seems I must deal with you first." He knew that without defeating the 3, he couldn't focus on his retreat. Rahu stepped out of his cave, staring coldly at them. He spoke sharply. "You aren't at your sanctums cultivating, so what business do you have here?" Hongjun heard this and responded calmly. "You orchestrated the war of the 3 clans, wiping out almost every living soul. Your sins are grave. Now you seek the Tao through slaughter, aiming to subvert the heavenly Tao. We are here for justice." Rahu heard this and laughed wildly, his laughter echoing through the mountain. He looked at the 3 and spat out, "Hypocrites! They came here, clearly for their own gain, yet they claim to care about living souls. If they really cared about those aunts, why didn't they step in during the war? Hypocrites?" Rahu shook his head. "Too lazy to expose their lies."
He said coldly, "Enough talk."
"Since you are here, let me show you what I can do. I only hope that when your long cultivation is ruined, you can still stay this calm." With the 12-petal black lotus above him, and the god-slaying spear in hand,
He charged.
Everywhere he passed, the void shattered into pieces, filling the air with a sense of destruction. That was terrifying. Rahu's target was Ancestor Kyung-kun. Always pick the weakest first. Facing the 3 of them, Rahu was confident, but not reckless. Hongjun was nearly as strong as him, so he planned to take out the weaker Kyung-kun and Yin Yang first, then deal with Hongjun. Ancestor Kyung-kun saw the murderous, demon-like Rahu charging at him. He was shocked and quickly drew his Cancun pearl. The pearl circled above him, shining with immense light. It provided a strong defense and carried the power of a whole world. Its power was vast, truly a top pre-heaven treasure. Meanwhile, Ancestor Cancun suddenly held a high-grade pre-heaven sword. The sword flew out, piercing the sky, carrying the weight of a world, straight at Rahu. Without the power of a top quasi-saint, this strike would be impossible to block. Rahu saw this, his expression unchanged, with a single thought.
His god-slaying spear blazed with light.
Although the god-slaying spear is just a top-notch innate spiritual treasure, it's called the #1 killing weapon in the entire world. Even the immortal slaying sword array, or the chaos Penyu axe, which is an innate treasure, can't match its killing power. The god-slaying spear carries the power of destruction. If you're wounded by it, you'll be invaded by its destructive intent. Even a quasi-saint couldn't handle it. When they collided, a thunderous boom echoed across heaven and earth. The aftermath shattered everything within 100,000 miles. Sacred mountains and spiritual veins were destroyed. Endless immortal and demon roots turned to ash. Not to mention the weaker, innocent creatures. They were all wiped out in that strike. After that attack, Luohu and Ancestor Qian Kun each looked different. Luohu was a bit surprised by Ancestor Qian Kun's strength. He didn't expect his opponent's power to be just as strong as Zulong, but he sneered inwardly. Zulong died by his hand, and this guy won't be an exception. On the other side, Ancestor Qian Kun was utterly shocked. He stared at Luohu in fear. Luohu's strength was way beyond his expectations. Just one attack crushed his offense, and that was his all-out move. Gathered the power of an entire mid-sized world. Yet his opponent was still terrifying. This is the strength of someone who is about to become righteous. Truly scary, aside from his fear. He also felt relieved inside, glad such a terrifying existence doesn't have to be faced alone. Otherwise, even with 10 times the courage, he wouldn't dare provoke him. Elsewhere, Luohu was about to press his advantage, but suddenly frowned. He quickly changed his attack direction, because Ancestor Hongjun and Ancestor Yin Yang's attacks were already coming his way. Being outnumbered, that's the biggest problem. He needs to defend against all enemies at once. If he slips up, he'll lose everything. The side with more people has all the advantage. Ancestor Hongjun protected himself with the Taiji diagram and attacked with the Pengyu banner. Even though Ancestor Hongchun's cultivation isn't high enough right now, he can't unleash the full power of the Pengyu banner. But even so, he still made things really tough for Luohu. The void around Luohu kept collapsing. Terrifying chaotic currents swept toward him. The laws shattered. Heaven itself trembled. Above his head was the 12-petaled, world-ending Black Lotus. It gave off a blinding light. But unfortunately, the Black Lotus's power lies mainly in attack and destruction. It does have some defensive abilities, but they're nowhere near enough to handle the Pengyu banner. Luckily, Luohu's cultivation was just a bit stronger than Hongjun's, so for now he could still hold on. As for the ancestor of Lin and Yang, his yin-yang Taoist robe fluttered fiercely in the wind. A Tai Chi pattern appeared on the robe. This robe was extraordinary. It's a top-tier innate defensive treasure. Its protection was even stronger than that of the 12-petal lotus. After all, though the 12-petal lotus balances offense and defense, defense is not its main use. Its real value lies in its core powers. The Black Lotus destroys, the Red Lotus burns, the White Lotus purifies, the Golden Lotus grants merit. Once the ancestor of Yin and Yang shielded himself with his Taoist robe, he waved his right hand. The silver threads of his yin-yang duster danced. They swept toward Luohu with world-ending force.
His yin-yang duster was also a top-tier innate artifact.
Mainly for attack. Honestly, the ancestor of Yin and Yang was truly blessed by fortune. He had treasures for both offense and defense, and they were all top-tier innate artifacts. Such luck. Most quasi-saints could only envy. He roamed the world for hundreds of thousands of years. But unfortunately, he was born in the wrong era. This was the age of Hongjun and Luohu. Others were just supporting characters. Every silver thread of his yin-yang duster represented a small world. 3,000 threads. 3,000 worlds. The combined force of those small worlds was terrifying. Wherever those 3,000 silver threads passed, the void collapsed. The Grand Tao buzzed. Seeing this, Luohu frowned deeply. He had to handle the Pengyu banner, while dodging the yin-yang duster's fierce attacks. It was a huge trial for him. His earlier contempt for the ancestors of Qiankun and yin-yang had already disappeared. Anyone Hongjun recruited was definitely extraordinary. They really were something else. At the same time, the ancestor of Qiankun seized the moment and struck with his sword again. Luohu was struggling to defend himself under Hongjun's team's combined assault. Because the nearby void was twisted by the Pengyu banner, Luohu often couldn't even use body techniques to dodge attacks. His power was severely limited. He'd already been wounded while fighting Zulong, Shikolin, and Qinglong. Those injuries lingered from that massive battle. Now, as time passed, his wounds just kept worsening. Ice-cold light flashed in Luohu's eyes. He knew he couldn't keep fighting like this. Otherwise, it was only a matter of time before defeat or serious injury. He needed to split up the three opponents and take them down one by one. That was his best chance. But getting away from the battlefield wasn't easy at all. Hong Jun's group gave him no opening at all. The fight began at Mount Sumeru, and the battlefield kept spreading in all directions. One moment they were here, the next somewhere else. Wherever they passed, mountains and rivers shattered, spirit veins were destroyed, whole blessed lands and caves were wiped out by the battle. Spiritual energy kept leaking away. You could imagine, when this war ended, the west of the Great Desolation would be finished. Losing spiritual energy was minor. Losing spirit veins would destroy the future. Restoring them was pretty much impossible. Hong Jun's team knew how much destruction the war caused. But it couldn't be helped. It wasn't what they wanted, nor something they could control. Still, they would have to pay the price in karma one day. So eventually, they'd have to make up for it. The battle raged for decades, but there was still no winner. By now, Luo Hu was nothing like his old self.
His hair was a mess.
Blood at the corner of his mouth. He still acted wild and arrogant. But everyone could sense his unstable aura. He was clearly badly hurt. The ancestors of King Kun and Yin Yang weren't doing great either. Both of them were carrying injuries too. But luckily, the three of them coordinated well, so Luo Hu's attacks often failed. Of them all, Hong Jun was in the best shape, compared to the start. He seemed almost unchanged, still in complete control. Seeing this, Luo Hu knew he couldn't let this continue. If they kept ganging up on him, who knows what would happen? With a ruthless heart, he made his decision. The next second, he took a heavy blow from the yin-yang ancestor, just to escape the siege. Once free from the fight, Luo Hu didn't run away and taunted, "Gentlemen, do you dare to step into my immortal-slaying sword formation?" As he spoke, 4 earth-shattering sword lights shot from his body, landing at 4 corners, and then vanished. A giant formation appeared beneath his feet. Luo Hu sat cross-legged at the center of the immortal-slaying sword formation, the formation's core, while healing.
He coldly watched Hong Jun's team outside the formation.
Breaking his immortal-slaying sword formation would take at least 4 quasi-saints, but they had only 3, so if they dared come in, it wouldn't matter what they tried. He'd have complete control. And if they didn't step in to stop him, he'd get a chance to recover. He could use the time to heal, and maybe even reach enlightenment. When that happened, he'd settle the score. In short, whatever they did, the ending was already set. Outside the immortal-slaying sword formation, Hong Jun and the other 2 carefully studied the formation with grim faces. They could feel how dangerous it was, with endless killing intent pouring out, sweeping across everything. Day turned to night. 4 gates stood wide open, as if inviting them into a trap. Fellow Taoists, this formation is strange. We shouldn't rush in. Cancun ancestor's eyes narrowed, and he said seriously. Yin-yang ancestor looked worried and responded anxiously. If we don't enter, won't that demon get time to recover? I can tell. He's almost at enlightenment. If he succeeds, we have no chance to survive. We can't let him break through. Cancun ancestor shook his head, looking helpless. What can we do? This formation has 4 deadly energies. To break it, we'd need 4 people to enter at once. 3 just won't be enough. We only have 3. At that, Cancun ancestor looked truly frustrated. He knew the serious consequences of not breaking the formation in time. But he just couldn't do it. Who could have expected? This villain would still be hiding such a trump card. The Red Army, who hadn't said a word all along, calmly spoke up. Still missing 1 fellow cultivator. That's no big deal. After he spoke, a figure emerged from his body. This figure looked exactly like Red Army. Only their aura was vastly different. Old Master Qian Kun and Old Master Yin Yang glanced at each other. Then they both looked at Red Army, their faces full of confusion. Red Army gave a slight smile. In a calm tone, he said, "It's just one of my avatars. No big deal. Even this avatar has late quasi-saint level cultivation." Old Master Qian Kun and Old Master Yin Yang had eyes filled with shock and suspicion, but they didn't say anything. At this crucial moment, a late quasi-saint's fighting power is critical. Even though they felt a bit frustrated with Red Army for not releasing the avatar earlier, The top priority now is to kill Rahu. They can't have an internal conflict now. Any opinions can wait until after the battle. And their guess was right. This was no ordinary avatar. It was one of Red Army's 3 divine corpses. For the sake of the righteous mixed Yuan path, Red Army comprehended the method of severing the 3 corpses. The 3 corpses are good corpse, evil corpse, and self corpse. The first corpse is early quasi-saint. The second corpse is mid quasi-saint. The third corpse is late quasi-saint. Once all 3 are combined, he enters the mixed Yuan path. At this point, Red Army has already severed all 3 corpses, meaning he now has 3 avatars, each at late quasi-saint cultivation. This is the trump card he's been hiding. The one just revealed is Red Army's good corpse. Afterward, Old Master Qiang Kun and Old Master Yin Yang each chose a portal and entered. Red Army's good corpse has a 12-petal golden lotus on his head and holds the Hongmeng Sky Ruler in his hand. He then entered the 3rd portal. As for Hong Chun's true body, he wore the TG diagram, with the Pendu banner above him, and the Plain Cloud Realm flag in his hand. He entered the final portal. At the center of the formation, Rahu suddenly opened his eyes wide. Extreme shock appeared in his gaze. How did a 4th aura suddenly appear? Damn, another powerhouse at the late quasi-saint stage. He really didn't expect this. He actually miscalculated. Turns out they really managed to gather 4 late quasi-saints. Luo Hu cursed under his breath, but didn't dare let his guard down. He quickly controlled the formation, focusing his attack on Hongjun himself.
He tried to give Hongjun trouble.
While going all out against Cancun Ancestor and Yin Yang Ancestor, he went through so much trouble to set up the immortal slaughtering sword array, just to take them out one at a time. Inside the formation, sandstorm raged everywhere. You couldn't see a thing. A deadly, intense atmosphere filled every direction. A terrifying aura of killing shrouded everything, even affecting the minds of these powerful quasi-saints, with Luo Hu focusing especially on them. Cancun and Yin Yang ancestors struggled to move, but Luo Hu couldn't just eliminate them with the formation. He had to stay at the core of the array and keep it running. He couldn't move his body easily. He could only fight using the formation or control. Spiritual treasures from afar. A long spear darted through the formation like a fish, its aura hidden perfectly by the array. A muffled boom echoed out. Cancun Ancestor was knocked back hundreds of feet. Thankfully, the Cancun Pearl shielded him the whole time. Otherwise, that strike would have cost him most of his power. Still, even protected by the Pearl, Cancun Ancestor wasn't doing well. He felt his body shaken up, his power unstable. If the Godslayer spear kept coming for him, he'd be in real danger. As the fight went on, the Godslayer spear kept swimming through the array, impossible to track. It kept sneak attacking Cancun and Yin Yang ancestors. Their states kept getting worse. Clearly, they'd taken some heavy hits. Even though Cancun and Yin Yang ancestors were desperate to turn things around, they couldn't do anything. All they could do was pin their hope on Hongjun. Time slowly passed. Who knows how long went by. But Hongjun finally didn't disappoint. He broke through layers of formation obstacles and appeared beside Luo Hu. Looking at Luo Hu, Hongjun calmly said, "Luo Hu, you've lost." Luo Hu sneered when he heard that and replied, "It's too soon to say I've lost. Hongjun, you might not have the last laugh." With that, Luo Hu stood side by side with Hongjun, facing him head-on. There was no running this time. Luo Hu's move was just what Hongjun wanted. In an instant, they were fighting again, with Luo Hu distracted. Yin Yang Ancestor and Cancun Ancestor soon broke through the obstacles too. They entered the battlefield. Once Cancun and Yin Yang Ancestors joined the fight again. It seemed like things went back to square one. This time, though, Hongjun's side had one more late quasi-saint than before. So Luo Hu felt even more pressure now. His face grew serious. He pushed his devil laws to the limit, but was still outmatched. He couldn't do anything else. After all, he was fighting 1 against 4. The battle only got fiercer. Blood spilled over the ground. They were quasi-saints, so even their blood was extraordinary. It contained great power. Any rare plants splashed with their blood would benefit greatly. Maybe many years later, they'd produce spirit stones, and start their own path of cultivation. This battle dragged on for centuries. Luo Hu, yin-yang ancestor, and Cancun ancestor were all gravely injured. Only Hong Zheng looked a bit better. Luo Hu felt bitter inside. By now, he knew too well. This battle was lost. Hong Zheng and the others would never let him escape. A bitter feeling filled his heart. He schemed for countless years, but it all came to nothing. How ridiculous. Still, he didn't regret a thing. If you never try, you'll never know how it ends. He shot a cold look at Hong Zheng and his three allies. With deep meaning in his eyes, he spoke calmly. Hong Zheng, you win this time, but I won't give up. When the Great Tribulation comes in the future, I'll return to settle today's score with you.
Hearing this,
Hong Zheng's pupils contracted, and a bad feeling rose in his heart. But before he could think more, Luo Hu's voice rang out again. This time, his words weren't for Hong Zheng. Heaven above, after my death, let me become the heart demon of all beings in the land, to temper their will. If heart demons are not destroyed, then Luo Hu lives on. The heavens trembled. The heavenly Tao responded. Not good, he's going to self-destruct. Hong Zheng's face changed dramatically. He tried to stop it, but it was too late. Luo Hu burst out laughing. Hong Zheng, old man, come die with me. Laughter. He didn't hold anything back anymore, and fought like a madman, rushing at Cancun and yin-yang ancestors. Hong Zheng could wait to settle things later, but today someone had to go down with him, fighting recklessly. Cancun and Yang ancestors were soon bleeding out in the sky, badly wounded and near death. To totally wipe them out and keep Hong Zheng from getting his treasures, Luo Hu went all in and self-destructed. A perfected quasi-saint's self-destruction is just insane. It wiped out half the western lands, leaving not a single blade of grass. No life survived. Cancun and yin-yang ancestors were killed without any surprise. Whether their treasures or Luo Hu's treasures, they were all swept into the chaotic void. No one knows where they went. The moment Luo Hu blew up, Hong Zheng recalled his good teacher and put all defenses to the max. A 12-petal golden lotus hovered above him, with the Panyu banner on one side and the Cloud Realm banner on the other. He also wore the Tai Chi diagram as a cloak, facing Luo Hu's explosion. He couldn't be too careful. After the blast, Hong Zheng staggered into view, blood dripping from his lips. Clearly, he wasn't unscathed either, but at least the outcome was good. He won, and he was the only one left standing, though Luo Hu wasn't. Completely destroyed, after countless ages, Hong Zheng would surely be much stronger by then. So even if Luo Hu came back, what could he possibly stir up? In the next moment, from the heavens above, endless merit rained down. Hong Zheng bathed in the golden pillar of merit, his aura becoming deeper and more profound. After a while, the golden pillar finally faded. Hong Zheng left. He needed to go into seclusion and digest his gains, and soon achieve the highest Tao. Time flowed endlessly. In a flash, over 1,000 years quietly passed. On this day, I was refining the Chaos Taixu Dragon's essence. Suddenly, I opened my eyes. My gaze was calm and emotionless, staring ahead. Just now, the seal broke open. 10,000 years have passed. If I wanted to leave, I could go now. But after thinking for a moment, I decided not to leave yet. I do love freedom, but I've waited 10,000 years. A few more centuries won't matter. Now, I'm just a bit away from fully refining half of the Chaos Taixu Ancient Dragon's essence. Still a little short, and I have a feeling I'm close to breaking through to Daluo Golden Immortal, probably within 1,000 years. So I decided to wait until I break through before coming out. Once I made up my mind, I didn't waste any time. I went back into cultivation. Time flew by in a flash. 800 years passed quickly. One day, above my secluded place, a thick thunder tribulation gathered. It covered thousands of miles around. I understood instantly. The Daluo Golden Immortal Tribulation is here. After merging with the essence, I naturally comprehended the law of water. Now I will use the law of water to reach Daluo. Feeling the tribulation coming, having fully merged the Chaos Taixu Ancient Dragons, half essence, I wasn't phased at all. Now my foundation is top tier innate holy. The Daluo Golden Immortal Tribulation means nothing to me. And that's exactly what happened. Half a day later, I successfully made it through the thunder tribulation. 3 flowers above the head. 5 key return to origin. The Dao flower blooms to the 9th grade. I've become one of the most perfect Daluo golden immortals. After the breakthrough, I still didn't leave in a rush. I stayed here for another 500 years to stabilize my cultivation. 500 years later, I stood up and looked around. My eyes were filled with complex emotions. This gloomy space kept me imprisoned for over 10,000 years. Of course, I feel something about it, but I'm not attached. I turned and left. I didn't go back to the Dragon Palace. Honestly, I'm already expelled from the Dragon Clan by name. Even though with my current power, if I returned, the fallen Dragon Clan would surely welcome me back with open arms. But there's no need for that. I don't want to get too involved with the Dragon Clan. Of course, I haven't forgotten my promise to the ancestral dragon. Next, to get even stronger, I plan to follow the path in my mind and find the hidden cave mansion mentioned by the system. After all, with my current strength, I'm still not strong enough to dominate the whole world here. A year later, I reached a calm-looking sea. I didn't see any trace of the place I was looking for, but the route from the system clearly told me that the place is right here. I frowned. I unleashed the divine sense of a Daluo golden immortal, carefully scanned my surroundings, finally spotted something unusual. Turns out it's covered by a formation. And it's not just any formation. If it were other Daluo golden immortals, even if they knew there was a secret here, they'd just stare helplessly. Luckily, I have a way to enter the formation from the system. It's not hard to get in. Once inside the formation, it suddenly opened up before me. There were exotic flowers and rare herbs everywhere, all at least 10,000 years old. Even 100,000-year-old ones aren't rare. Too bad, I don't know the art of pill refining. Otherwise, these herbs could be far more useful. Besides the obvious spiritual herbs, my second impression is the spiritual energy in this paradise is insanely dense, way more than even the Dragon Palace. No wonder it's the top paradise. Just as I marveled, the name of this paradise suddenly popped into my mind. Penglai Island. I was stunned. I've definitely heard of the famous Penglai Island. It's said there are 3 supreme immortal islands in the East Sea, Penglai, Fengzhang, and Yinzhou, called the 3 immortal islands of the East Sea. Shocked as I was even more thrilled. After all, Penglai Island is not just a perfect place to cultivate. Legend has it it's filled with rare treasures. So I started searching the island excitedly. As I moved around, I found several spiritual roots, though they're acquired spiritual roots. Still, they're pretty rare. Of course, besides treasures, Penglai Island has plenty of living creatures. Their cultivation ranges from celestial to mystic immortal. Watching them closely, I noticed, maybe because they're isolated from the world, their minds are simple and friendly. No competitiveness or greed. For these creatures, I won't drive them away. Soon I reached the center of Penglai Island. There's a spring here. The water is crystal clear and gently glows. This is the famous Sangguang divine water in the wilds. Sangguang divine water has the power of creation, great for healing or nurturing roots. Both work amazingly well. There's very little Sangguang divine water in the wilds. Even fewer places have it. Later in Journey to the West, Sun Wukong searched all 3 realms, asked all his friends, only got a few drops from Guanyan. Shows how rare and precious it is. But what's in front of me now is a whole pool of Sangguang divine water, though around it, there's a protective formation. To get the Sangguang divine water, I need to break the formation. I thought a bit, decided not to touch the formation for now. There's no rush to collect the water. If I break it now, it'd be hard to manage the water. I'll wait until I learn formation arts, then break it later. A few days later, I finally explored all of Penglai Island and summed up my gains. 1 top-tier innate spiritual water pearl, 1,000 tons of innate ore, 1 top-tier innate spiritual root, quiet heart tea tree, a pool of Sangguang divine water, 137 acquired spiritual roots, countless herbs over 10,000 years old. Looking at all this loot, I'm very satisfied. Some treasures I can use right away. Like the water pearl, I happen to cultivate water laws. If I refine the water pearl and comprehend it for a while, my skills in water laws will go up sharply. But I didn't start cultivating right away. Instead, I set up a Daoist temple. Built my own base first, with Daluo Golden Immortal's power. A palace complex rose up quickly. Then, I casually enlightened a boy and a girl. Named them Willow and Bamboo. Both are celestial level, not super strong, but good enough for chores. I nodded. Sighed, I'll be in seclusion for a while. You two guard the palace. Don't let others disturb me. Willow and Bamboo listened, and quickly nodded. I then turned and walked into the palace. Started refining the water pearl. To boost my water laws, 3,000 years passed in a flash. First 500 years to refine the pearl. Next 2,500 years. I focused on studying its water laws. Hard work paid off. After 3,000 years, my water law skills leveled up, reached a whole new level, much stronger than 3,000 years ago. Seeing I couldn't break through soon, I decided to come out of seclusion. It was then, the system voice suddenly sounded, detected that the creatures on Panglai Island lack cultivation methods. Please choose. Option 1, teach the creatures for 500 years. And pass on cultivation, get entry-level concealment law as reward. Option 2, ignore them. Get 1,000 years of cultivation as reward. Hearing the options, I chose option 1 without hesitation. Because before this, I already planned to teach the creatures here. It's a small effort, but comes with huge benefits. Reward sent, as the system spoke. I immediately felt some changes in my body. Hard to describe in words. As I focused my mind, my body started turning transparent, until it vanished. Even a Daluo Golden Immortal couldn't find any clue here even by careful searching. They wouldn't notice a thing. This is the magic for robbery and hiding bodies. And this is just entry-level concealment law. If I perfect it, even semi-saints won't find me. After trying out the concealment law, I walked out of the palace. Seeing me exit, the two servants quickly bowed, welcoming me back. Then, using my cultivation, I sent a message. Summoned all creatures on Panglai Island to listen to my teachings. 500 years flew by. The day came when my lecture ended. Just as I was about to leave, I suddenly sensed something strange in the sky. Looked up. A ball of golden light descended. Heaven's merit, though a bit surprised. I wasn't really shocked. Teaching creatures brings enlightenment. It's good for the heaven's path. Heaven grants merit. It's well-deserved. Merit naturally flowed into my body. I didn't use it to boost my cultivation, nor to temporarily boost my understanding. Didn't merge it into treasures either. Just kept it inside me, just in case. At the same time, the system's voice appeared again. Most beings on Panglai Island detected. Their hearts are full of respect for the host. However, there's no real order on Panglai Island. Please make a choice. Host. Option 1, do nothing. Reward, divine ability Nanming Li Fire. Option 2, accept at least 5 disciples from the beings you hear, and establish order on Panglai Island. Reward, entry to Sword Dao rules. After hearing the system's 2 options, I fell into deep thought. Nanming Li Fire. Isn't that the innate power of the Phoenix clan? It's said to be one of the strongest fires in existence, and the Phoenixes were once mortal enemies of the dragons. Our 2 clans fought for many eras. That hatred runs deep. Even though all 3 major clans have declined now, that grudge won't fade anytime soon. As a dragon, if they find out I have a Phoenix's power, there's no way to explain that. Compared to that, the Sword Dao suits me better. Sword Dao is all about attack, known for its powerful force. Throughout history, sword cultivators have always stood out among their peers. It's a shame I haven't been in the Great Desolation for long. Haven't had the time to study the Sword Dao yet. So I immediately responded in my mind. I choose option 2. Reward issued. Right away, I felt a new surge of power inside me.
Next.
After picking a few righteous disciples, I entered seclusion again. This time, I have 3 goals for my retreat. First, to raise the realm of the concealment and Sword Dao rules. As for the water rule, it's hit a bottleneck for now. I'll set it aside for the moment. Second, study formations. See if I can create a few on my own.
Third.
Refine the supreme innate treasure Chixiao sword from the ancestral dragon. I didn't have enough time before. Plus, I hadn't mastered Sword Dao at that point, so I never refined the Chixiao sword. But now it's different. I've now stepped into Sword Dao. It's time to refine the Chixiao sword. After refining it, my power will get a huge boost. After all, with the same cultivation level, one side has a supreme innate treasure, while the other doesn't. That's a big gap. In a blink, 2,000 years passed. 2,000 years later, I opened my eyes with a helpless look. 2,000 years of enlightenment. But my progress with the law of concealment was minimal, only improved by about 10%. Right now, my mastery of the law of concealment is just over 10%. Without a treasure that contains the law of concealment, it's really hard to comprehend further. If I want to keep improving, I either need to go out and seek opportunities, or grind away for tens of thousands of years. I shook my head a bit, feeling kind of helpless. After thinking for a while, I figured instead of dying here, why not head out and explore? With the system on my side, going out to seek fortune might just trigger something. That's way better than just training in seclusion. Maybe I could even get a treasure with the law of concealment. So I decided to set the law of concealment aside for now and start refining the Chixiao sword. This time, I set a limit of 2,000 years. After 2,000 years, no matter how much progress I make, I'm leaving seclusion. After all, Hong Jun is about to become a saint. I need to explore the world before he does, and find more opportunities in this era. Once Hong Jun becomes a saint, with heaven's help, he'll sweep up most of the treasures. By then, getting any innate treasure will be 100 times harder. The only reason I'm not leaving yet is because my cultivation isn't enough. I have to make sure that even if I face the 3 pure ones, even if I can't beat them, I can at least escape unharmed. Soon, another 2,000 years passed.
That day,
I finally pushed open the dusty palace gates. I checked my progress from this retreat. Mastery of Law of Concealment reached 15%. My mastery of Sword Dao reached 30%. And I've refined 30% of the Chixiao sword. It's about time I leave Peng Lei Island. My gaze passed through the palace and looked out across the distant prehistoric land. It's been nearly 20,000 years since I transmigrated here. I've been here this whole time and never left the East Sea. I've been curious about the rest of this world for ages. The Wu tribe, demon tribe, and the innate divines. This is a brand new era, full of fierce competition, where all kinds of talents gather, and mighty ones compete with each other. The Dao resounds everywhere. In this era, if you don't fight, you perish. Just hiding won't work. But even if I compete, it has to be with my safety guaranteed first. I'll always set up a backup plan for myself. Coming from the future, I've got foreknowledge on my side. My vision is way beyond others of this era, and I know how to maximize my gains, with help from the system too. I don't think I'll ever fall behind the other innate divines, or even the 6 destined saints. Even if I can't get the primordial purple key, I'll find another way to become a proper saint. Anyone below same level is just an ant. If you don't become a saint, then even at peak quasi-saint, you'll always be worried and skeptical. But finding another way to sainthood is crazy hard. I slowly shook my head and stopped thinking about it. My next goal is to catch up to the top Dao immortals. Just then, Qingju entered the great hall and reported, "Master, your senior brothers are here." I nodded. "Let them in." Soon, the 10 registered disciples entered the hall one after another and stood in the center. They bowed and greeted me. "Greetings, Master." No need for formality. I raised my hand and used magic to lift them up, then said, "I'll be leaving Penglai Island soon and heading to travel the prehistoric land. The beings on Penglai Island have been stuck here for countless years, so there must be those who want to leave, but never had the chance. Go tell the beings on the island, anyone who wants to leave should wait outside the dojo. I'll send them out when the time comes. But after leaving, they can't ever come back to Penglai Island." The 10 registered disciples heard this. Each of them showed a strange look in their eyes. Leaving Penglai Island. Honestly, they also want to see the wider world outside. Penglai Island is nice, but for the beings here, it's like a cage, trapping them here forever. So after hearing me, even the 10 registered disciples all started to have new thoughts. Seeing this, I immediately said, "You still can't leave for now. Once I'm gone, the order on Penglai Island still needs you to maintain it. But when I return from my travels, Maybe you can leave then. The 10 registered disciples accepted this and left. And as they spread the word around Penglai Island, most of the beings on the island erupted with excitement. They've been waiting for this day for so long. After the 10 disciples left, I called Qingju and Xiaoyu to come in. 5,000 years ago, I passed the Shadowless Sutra to these two youths. Now, after 5,000 years, their cultivation went from late celestial immortal to mid-true immortal. I looked at my two young attendants and felt satisfied. After thinking, I told Qingju and Xiaoyu, I'm about to leave Penglai Island and travel the prehistoric land. You two help your 10 senior brothers maintain order on Penglai Island, especially protect the dojo. Qingju and Xiaoyu felt a bit reluctant, but still bowed and replied, Yes, master. Master. Then I had them leave. A month later, tens of thousands had gathered outside the dojo, all planning to leave Penglai Island. Everyone was there. I figured almost everyone had arrived, so I didn't wait and appeared outside the dojo. When I showed up, all the beings bowed to me. I just nodded and said, No need for courtesy, everyone. Since you're ready, I'll open the portal now. Once you leave Penglai Island, you can never return. After you leave, for a while, it's best to travel together and look out for each other. The outside world is nothing like Penglai Island. It could be dangerous. With that, I slashed forward with my sword. The next moment, a huge hole opened in the sky. Go, I ordered. A huge crowd of beings rushed toward the portal as fast as they could. In no time, all those who wanted to leave were already. The whole Penglai Island seemed much quieter. Then I flashed away. I flew out from the cave too. After I left, the opening in the formation quickly vanished. Before setting out, I already had a plan in mind. I decided to search the East Sea first, just trying my luck. See if I could find Fangzheng Island or Yingzhou Island. Just Penglai Island alone got me a ton of treasure. If I could find the other two islands, maybe I'll get a few more spiritual treasures. So I wandered the East Sea aimlessly. One day, 200 years later, I suddenly caught something out of the corner of my eye. A flash of light underwater somewhere. I didn't hesitate. I flew straight toward the light's source. Weird, how come it's not here? Once I got to the seafloor, I looked around carefully, found nothing at all. I paused for a few seconds. Then, I quickly used the water law and attraction law. By combining these two laws, plus a very careful search, I finally found the source of the light. There were 12 shiny, fist-sized pearls. Each carried a mysterious aura. Out of curiosity, I sent my divine sense inside. Right away, I knew where these pearls came from. These are the innate Lingbao Dinghai divine pearls. They contain part of the spatial law. They can suppress the void and seal off space. After getting them, I felt super happy, but I was a bit confused too. Aren't there supposed to be 24 Dinghai divine pearls? Why are there only 12 here? Or maybe there are actually 36 Dinghai divine pearls, linked to the Heavenly Zhou formation. But for some reason, the 36 Dinghai divine pearls got scattered. Grandmaster Hongjun got 24 of them, so the 12 I got now must have never appeared before. As I was lost in thought, the system's voice suddenly sounded in my head. Detected. Host has obtained 12 Dinghai divine pearls. Please make a choice. Option 1. Give the 12 Dinghai divine pearls to Tongshen. Form a good relationship with him. Reward. Top tier Nate Lingbao. 12-petal pure world white lotus. Option 2. Collect all 36 Dinghai divine pearls. Reward. The method to evolve a great world inside your body. Hearing the system's choices, I was instantly shocked. Top tier innate Lingbao. The 12-petal pure world white lotus needs no explanation. That's on par with the 12-grade golden lotus, the black lotus of destruction, and the red lotus of fire. They all share the same origin. While its defense is unmatched, it also has the power to purify all things. Once it appears, even quasi-saints will fight for it. If the reward for choice 1, the white lotus of purity, was a surprise, then the reward for choice 2, the method to evolve a macrocosm within, is simply shocking. You should know, the Great Desolation itself is a macrocosm. It's hard to imagine, if a person had a whole Great Desolation inside their body, how terrifying their strength would be. This is an alternative path to the Tao. I'm incredibly excited. I never expected that I'd get a chance to obtain such a path so soon. There are several paths in this world, but each has its flaws. The first is the path of strength. Even Pan Yu failed at this, so it's unlikely any other being could succeed. The second is the path of three corpses. This is the path Hong Jun took. In the entire Great Desolation, only Hong Jun has succeeded. The third is the path of merit. Aside from Hong Jun, all other saints took this path, but merit is hard to come by. The merits in this world have mostly been divided among them. It's hard for others to get a share. And even with merit, you still need primordial violet key. But that key is both a blessing and a trap. With it as your foundation, your soul will be tied to the void, controlled by the heavenly Tao, and you'll lose your freedom forever. The fourth is the path of laws. In the Great Desolation, this was the path of the first quasi-saints. But only great ancestor Yang Mei succeeded. You can see how difficult it is. I hadn't decided which path to take before, though I leaned toward the path of laws. But now there's no need to struggle. I'll just take the path of the inner world. After the shock wore off, I chose choice 2 without hesitation. Reward granted. Suddenly, a flood of info filled my mind, all about how to evolve, the macrocosm's methods and details. 3 days later, I came to my senses, my gaze firm and resolute. Now that I have a goal, I must get the other 24 sea-fixing pearls. Right now, those pearls are likely in Hong Jun's hands. I'm not confident I can get them from him. The only way is to wait for Treasure Cliff. Whether I snatch them myself or trade with Tongshan later, both are viable options. I then put away the 12 pearls and continued my journey. Before long, I finally reached the main continent. Looking at the vast land before me, I felt deeply moved. After 20,000 years in this world, I finally set foot on land. Great Desolation. Here I come. After a moment's view, I moved out again, speeding toward Mount Buzhou. This world is boundless, even for an early Daluo golden immortal. Crossing it would take at least 100 years. Luckily, my power is much deeper than a normal immortal's. After 70 years, I finally reached the mountain. Feeling the powerful pressure and the unique aura from Mount Buzhou, I was filled with emotion. Just as I was about to start the climb, a voice called out from behind, "Fellow Daoist, please stay a moment." My face froze. No way. Not this bad luck. I meet those two right as I arrive. I turned around to look, and sure enough, there were two middle-aged Taoists. One looked kind and gentle. The other had a face full of sorrow. Seeing this, I couldn't help but sigh. Without a doubt, these are Jian and Junti. As for these two, I just want to stay away. Their scheming is top tier among the saints. I don't want to deal with them. So I asked coldly, "Fellow Taoists, what business do you have with me?" Hearing my words, Jian's face grew even more sorrowful. Junti, however, acted like he didn't notice the coldness in my voice.
He said with a smile, "Greetings."
"I am Junti, and this is my brother Jian. It seems you are here alone? Likely looking for opportunities, right? Why don't we travel together? We can look out for each other. What do you say?" He looked at me expectantly, his eyes seemingly sincere. If I didn't know his true nature, I might have believed his nonsense. I calmly declined. "I'm afraid I must disappoint you. I am used to being alone, and don't like traveling in groups." Then I stepped onto the mountain without looking back. Another 300 years passed in a flash. Suddenly, I felt a twitch in my mind. Following the sensation, I came to an ordinary-looking patch of grass. Something is wrong here. There are faint, mysterious ripples, likely a very hidden formation. With a thought, I drew my red cloud sword and slashed forward without hesitation. Powerful sword intent tore through the air. The strange plants were instantly turned to dust. I watched expectantly, eager to see what treasure was hidden beneath the formation. But right then, something unexpected happened. My consciousness suddenly blurred. When I came to, I found myself back in the modern world. This sudden change left me completely lost for a moment. Thoughts raced through my head. I walked cautiously through the modern city. My power was gone, and I couldn't feel any of my treasures. It's an illusion. To break it, I have to rely on myself. As time passed, I slowly forgot my life in the great desolation. I started thinking I was just a normal person and fully integrated into society. As I grew older, my life seemed to be reaching its end. Just then, a voice rang in my mind. Life crisis detected. Please make a choice. Choice 1. Let nature take its course. Reward. A prime burial plot. Choice 2. Realize your true self. Break the illusion. Reward. God-tier comprehension. Regaining my senses. I roared immediately. Choice 2. Break. Under my roar, the modern world shattered like a mirror. I was standing on Mount Bujo again, looking ahead. At the marks left by my sword strike, I was filled with lingering fear. I almost died in that illusion formation. If the system hadn't appeared and helped me regain clarity, the consequences would have been unimaginable. As I was thinking about how I got trapped in the illusion, my eyes suddenly landed on the dirt. Right there, there was a small white jade shard about the size of a fingernail. If I hadn't sensed some strange bad luck from it, I might have just ignored it. With a serious look, I picked it up, checked it over, and carefully scanned it with my mind. The next second, my face changed in shock. This shard is actually a fragment of the Creation Jade Butterfly. The Creation Jade Butterfly, one of the 4 great chaos treasures. It contains 3,000 laws. After Pengu opened the world a long time ago, for some unknown reason, it shattered into thousands of pieces and scattered across the wilderness. Hongjun got the largest fragment of all. It's fair to say that Hongjun could stand above everyone else. Mainly because of the Creation Jade Butterfly, this fragment is small, but it still holds 2 laws inside, the law of the Tao and the law of space. I'm quite pleased about this. I've longed for the Tao for ages, plus mastering formations was one of my main goals coming to this world. After finishing the array business, I finally remembered the system's divine level comprehension reward from earlier. I just feel like my mind is way clearer than before, but nothing else seems different. After thinking for a bit, I decided to hit pause on searching for more opportunities. I'm going to refine the Creation Jade Butterfly Shard first and understand the Tao Law inside. I want to get started on the Tao Law and maybe even master 20 to 30% of it before exploring Bujo Mountain any further. So I used my Chixiao sword to dig out a simple cave right here and began refining the Creation Jade Butterfly Shard. A complete Creation Jade Butterfly as a chaos treasure would be incredibly hard to refine, but this is just a tiny fragment, so it's very easy to refine. It only took me 200 years to finish refining it. After the refining was done, I started meditating right away. It was then that I finally understood what divine level comprehension really feels like. Massive formation insights flood my mind. My grasp of arrays keeps deepening. Soon, another 2,000 years pass. On this day, after 2 millennia, I suddenly open my eyes. 35%. I'm thrilled. The formation laws have leaped to become the most profound of all the laws I've mastered. This is the power of God-level savvy. The reason I ended my seclusion wasn't for lack of progress, but because my current array skills are enough to break most formations. Hongjun's victory is drawing near. My time is short. I must use it wisely. I can't let pointless seclusion waste my time. I can seclude after Hongjun's victory, and even with God-level savvy, I shouldn't work in isolation. Observing the world and its wonders helps me master the formation laws. Leaving my cave dwelling, I didn't turn back, but kept climbing Mount Bujo. With the help of formation laws, my treasure hunt became much smoother. I found a dozen acquired spirit roots, and 1 primordial spirit root, but no primordial spirit treasures yet. Suddenly, a voice rings in my ear. Doist, your array skills are impressive. Care to discuss the deal with me? I looked toward the voice. The speaker is a young man, dressed in black, with an aura sharp as a sword, showing his full edge. This man is powerful and has a special background. I stay alert, secretly on my guard. I ask him calmly, do you also study arrays, Taoist? May I ask your name? The man in black smiles, cupping his hands. My name is Tongshen. My Taoist field is on Mount Kunlun. Arrays are my primary focus. I saw your expert skills earlier and knew you were a master. I couldn't help my excitement. Forgive my sudden request to discuss the Tao. Please don't take offense. Knowing he is Tongshan, I quickly make a plan. As for Tongshan himself, one actually quite admire him. Though he's a tragic figure, I don't mind being his friend.
Discussing the Tao with him.
Is perfectly fine, but not right now. Discussing the Tao takes time. It won't be finished quickly. I only want more treasures for now. The discussion must wait. Decision made. I say, my name is Yi. Greetings, Taoist Tongshan. I've long heard of your name. It's an honor to discuss the Tao with you, but I cannot do it right now. Please forgive me. How about this? In 3,000 years, I will visit Mount Kunlun, and we can talk then. Tongshan thinks for a bit, then nods. Very well. In 3,000 years, I'll wait for you at Mount Kunlun. Then Tongshan leaves. Watching him leave, I shake my head and think no more of it. I keep climbing Mount Buzhou. Time passes day by day. One day, by a cliff wall, I didn't plan to stop, but a voice asks, "Do you know a race?" I look toward the voice. A woman in yellow stands 10 feet away, slowly revealing herself. While my mind races, I reply, "I know a bit about them. How can I help you?" The woman is overjoyed. She looks very eager. She asks urgently, "Could you do me a favor?" "If you can, I'll reward you greatly." She wants a favor. So I become wary. I don't agree easily, fearing a trap. After a short pause, I ask calmly, "What is your name?" The woman is stunned, then smiles. "I am How Tu, an ancestral shaman of the Wu clan." I'm shocked. It's her! Knowing who she is, my wariness vanishes. I trust How Tu's character. She is compassionate, sacrificing herself for samsara. She wouldn't set a trap. I cup my hands
And say sincerely,
"Greetings, Shaman How Tu. I've heard of you. I am Yi. How can I help you, ancestral shaman?" "I will do my best." How Tu is delighted, pointing to the wall. "Taoist, there's an array here. Inside is something I need. Please help me break it." I look at the wall, confused, checking it many times, but finding nothing. Just as I wonder if there's even an array, the system rings out. Detected ancestral shaman How Tu, asking to break a primordial array. Please make a choice. Option 1, say you can't help. Refuse to help her. Reward, guide to primordial herbs. Option 2, help How Tu break the array. Reward, a top primordial spirit treasure. The Godslayer Spear's location. The system shocks me. A primordial array? With my array skills, I hadn't even noticed a trace of it. Such a strong array is enough to shock me. But even more shocking is the Godslayer Spear's location. The top killing treasure of the world. Once Luohu's weapon. It vanished after he fell. I thought it was hidden, waiting for his return. But the system gives it now. As a reward, with the Godslayer's spear, I can survive this world better. I choose option 2. Reward granted. As the system's voice fades, one immediately receive a map in my mind. I ignore it for now. After all, breaking the array comes first. Regarding this array, I have no clue yet. I must study it slowly, under How Tu's expectant gaze. I sit down before the wall. From then on, I push my formation laws to the limit. To sense this primordial array, How Tu stands nearby, watching the surroundings. She is guarding me against disturbances. 300 years pass in a flash. The 300-year search drained me. But hard work pays off. At last I sense the array's location here. I finally breathe a sigh of relief. Next, I just had to figure out the array, with divine level comprehension helping me. This wasn't really difficult at all. As I studied the array more deeply, I got more and more inspired. Another 200 years flew by. One day I suddenly opened my eyes. I stared straight ahead. In the next moment, I took a step forward. The space around me seemed to ripple, but I didn't stop walking. I took 81 steps in a row. Once I'd finished those 81 steps, the space ahead shattered like a mirror. The innate array was broken. A cave mansion suddenly appeared on the cliff wall. Seeing this, both How Tu and I were overjoyed. "Thank you, my friend." How Tu, still happy, looked at me seriously and promised, "When you come to the Wu tribe someday, there's no need for a big reward. I didn't really care much about Howtu's promise. I just smiled and blew it off. Then thank you, Ancestor Howtu. After that, Howtu entered the cave mansion. Not long after, he walked out from the cave. He smiled at me again, then vanished from sight. Feeling happy inside, I curiously stepped into the cave mansion before me, even though Howtu had already taken the treasures from inside, just in case something was missed. Or maybe left behind a treasure he didn't want. If there really was anything, that would be a huge win for me. The moment I walked in, a rush of pure innate energy hit me. The energy was so dense, it was shocking. Even I couldn't help but think of staying here to train for a while. Just having a place like this to train is already worth it, treasure or not. But honestly, surprises just come out of nowhere. In this cave mansion, turns out there really was a treasure left. It was a palm-sized flag, giving off a strong immortal aura, and some mysterious Tao rhythm. This turned out to be an innate treasure. I was honestly thrilled. I immediately covered it with my spiritual sense. The next moment, all the info about the treasure popped right into my head. It's the Azure Lotus Jewel Banner, one of the 5 innate banners. The 5 innate banners are among the top tier, each born from a lotus petal of the Chaos Green Lotus. There's the Azure Lotus Jewel Banner for the east, the White Cloud Border Banner to the west, the Ground Fire Blaze Banner to the south, the Black Water Banner to the north, and the Central Yellow Earth Banner. All are supreme innate treasures. Each has its unique power. Getting the Azure Lotus Jewel Banner this time, I'm honestly thrilled. Helping Howtu break the formation this time was honestly a huge win. I boosted my formation skills and got a top-notch treasure out of it. Plus, I've got Howtu's promise and friendship now. After putting the Azure Lotus Banner away, I didn't leave right away. Instead, I set up a few formations outside with a wave of my hand, then sat down cross-legged. I closed my eyes and started cultivating. I want to see if I can break through to the mid-stage Great Luo Golden Immortal here. After traveling around, I realized my cultivation's still not enough. I've only just arrived at Buzhou Mountain and already ran into several experts stronger than me. This world is truly dangerous. If I want to survive, I have to get stronger fast. Seasons passed, and 1,500 years flew by. Inside my cave dwelling, my aura suddenly surged up violently, without the formations blocking it. Creatures for tens of thousands of miles around would have felt it. A long time later, that massive aura finally faded away. I opened my eyes slowly too. I finally broke through to mid-stage Great Luo Golden Immortal. All that crazy training paid off. From now on, in this vast world, unless I'm facing a saint-level being, I've got enough confidence now. With my breakthrough done, I'm ready to head out, though it's a shame to leave such a good cave dwelling behind. Next, I continued toward the summit of Buzhou Mountain. Honestly, this trip to Buzhou Mountain has already been super rewarding. Even if I get nothing else after this, it's still worth it. But I like to finish what I start, so I'm climbing all the way to the top. Then I'll go down the other side, making it a full loop. That's the only way to call this trip complete. The summit of Buzhou Mountain is even more amazing than I expected. Looking out as far as I can, the whole prehistoric world is right there before my eyes. Endless ranges look like the backbone of the land, snaking all the way to the horizon. Off in the distance, a beam of spiritual light shoots up. Someone must be in seclusion far away. Even farther, dark clouds are churning. Probably a little fight between the Wu and Demon clans. This is what the prehistoric world is like. Vast and majestic, yet danger is everywhere beneath the surface. I stood on the summit for a long time, letting the fierce winds blow past, making my robes flutter loudly. The sound echoed in the wind. It's been 20,000 years now. From just a tiny golden immortal kicked out of the Dragon Clan, to now, a mid-stage Great Luo Golden Immortal holding top treasures. And a true powerhouse. Every step of the way felt like walking on thin ice. Every choice was life or death. But I know, this is just the start. The great calamity of the Wu and demons is coming. The investiture of the gods' disaster is right behind it. In those massive calamities, even saints will have to step in themselves. So for someone like me, if I can't get strong enough before the calamities hit, all that's waiting is to be crushed by fate. That's my destiny otherwise. Going down the other side of the peak, I picked up a few more spirit herbs along the way, plus 2 postnatal spirit roots. Not a huge haul, but better than nothing. After leaving Buzhou Mountain, I didn't stop for a second. I followed the route the system gave me, and flew right toward the god-slaying spear's hiding spot. It's a barren land in the southwest ruins. There's not a blade of grass, the ground is cracked, and the air is thick with a hint of destruction. Even after all these years, the marks left from Rahu's self-destruction are still easy to see. I landed on this scorched earth, spread my divine sense out, and searched carefully, map in hand. 3 months later, in a crack deep underground, I finally found it. The god-slaying spear floated quietly in the void, jet black all over, covered by faint, shifting runes of destruction. Just getting close, I could feel a chilling intent to kill, like the spear itself was destruction made real. The top killing weapon of the prehistoric world definitely lives up to its name. I took a deep breath and reached out to grab the spear. The moment I touched it, a terrifying force of destruction rushed up my arm into my body, trying to invade my soul. I felt my face change, and quickly used my power to push it down. At the same time, I used my Chaos Void Dragon energy to fight back. Luckily, for all its power, the spear has no master right now, so it's not attacking on purpose, just acting on instinct. A moment later, that force of destruction began to calm down. Holding the spear, I couldn't help but smile.
Now,
I've got the Scarlet Cloud Sword, the Azure Lotus Banner, and the God-slaying Spear, 3 supreme treasures, plus 12 sea-fixing pearls and a shard of the creation jade disc. This stash alone makes me truly rich here. Even some quasi-saints might not have this much. Some of them might not be as well off as I am. Of course, treasures are just things. What really determines my strength is still my own cultivation and foundation. After putting away the spear, I found a secret spot nearby, set up a few formations, and began to go into seclusion. This time, my goal was clear. I want to try creating a world inside my body. The method from the system is super detailed, from forming a world seed to developing the laws of reality. Every single step is clearly laid out. But even so, doing it for real is crazy hard. Creating a universe in my body, no one in this world has ever even tried. There's nothing from anyone before me to learn from. I've just got to figure it out step by step. 500 years later, I finally formed a world seed in my body. It's a tiny dot made of chaos energy, almost impossible to sense, but full of endless possibilities. It's like a seed waiting to sprout, needing laws and time to nourish it. One day, it'll grow into a whole new world. Looking at that seed inside me, I felt both fired up and clear-headed. On one hand, this path really does work. But at the same time, from a single seed to a whole universe, it's a distance beyond what words can describe. This road will take a long, tough time. Maybe several eras of effort. That's what it'll take. But I'm not in a rush. Ever since I arrived here, my biggest lesson is that patience matters more than anything. In the prehistoric world, rushing only leads to ruin.
taking it one step at a time
is the only way to survive to the end. After leaving seclusion, I looked at the rolling clouds across the sky, already planning my next moves. First, I'll head to Kunlun Mountain to meet Tongshen, to have a discussion and become friends. Tongshen might have a rough fate ahead, but his skills in formations and swordplay are still top tier. Talking with him will definitely help me grow. More importantly, when it's time to split up treasures in the future, I'll need a powerful ally. Then keep improving my cultivation. Before the Wu Demon catastrophe, I at least need to reach late Great Luo Golden Immortal, or even the very peak. Only then can I make it through the coming disaster unscathed and stay alive, maybe even get an even bigger opportunity. As for the 24 sea-fixing pearls, cultivating my internal world and refining the god-slaying spear, all that stuff needs time. And time is the one thing I've got plenty of. I looked away, and my figure turned into a beam of light and shot off. This world is so vast. All the paths are competing. In this age of heroes, I'm just a drop in the ocean. But I believe, one day, when the world inside me is truly complete, I'll become a Hunyuan being like never before.